Hey everybody, it's Steph from Destination Exploration with another Technology Thursday video as part of our At Home with DE series. Today we're going to be learning about Python. And Python is a coding language that is a great place to start if you're just getting into text coding. It works on both Windows and Mac computers and is a free download just from the internet. So this video is going to take you through how to download, set it up, and just some of the basics of Python, and then we'll get into an activity with the video afterwards. So here we go. So what we need to do is we need to go online and we're going to go to python.org. We're going to see this page here, and what we need to do is we need to download the files so that it works on your computer. Right now I'm working on a Mac, but I'm going to show you how to work and download it so that it works on a Windows computer if that's what you're using. So right away you can go to downloads. You can see that it says download for Mac. If you're using a Windows computer and it looks a little different, it should know which kind of operating system you're on, so you shouldn't have to worry about this. But if you are getting lost and you're not quite sure, you can always jump down here where it says download, and we want Python 3.8.2. So we're going to click on that. We're going to get this page. There's a whole bunch of writing. This is just showing us the updates in case you are looking for specific things, but I don't think we're there yet. And what we really want to look for is this files table down at the bottom. So for a Mac, it's just one option here. For Windows, there's a whole bunch. Most of you will have a Windows 64-bit operating system, and there's actually a web-based installer, so you don't have to download and open different files. It kind of does it all for you. So for you, if you're using a Windows computer, you're going to choose the Windows web-based installers right here, and you want the one that has a description in it. Okay, so you're going to choose this one here, and all you got to do is click on the name. So for me, I'm going to download the Mac OS. It's going to jump on over to my downloads file. So we can see that it's here, the Python 3.8.2. So what we're going to do is we're going to open that up, and it's just a basic installer here. We're going to go through. I've already got it installed, but you just follow it through. There's nothing new about it. So then what's going to happen is you don't need that installer anymore, but you're going to get a file that's called Python 3.8, and this is what you're going to be looking for in your start menu, or if you're in your applications folder. The first thing that you're going to want to do is click on the rocket ship that says Python launcher, because it's got Python in the name. That's not where we're going. So the two applications that Python uses is idle and the Python launcher. So the launcher is actually going to work in the background. It's going to do all the hard work for us, and we don't actually ever need to open that up, but it needs to be on our computer. What we're going to use is idle, and that's what you'll always open. It's the code editor. It stands for Integrated Development and Learning Environment. All right, so what we're going to do to start us off, we're going to get rid of this. We're going to jump on over into Python, and all we're going to do is we're just going to open it up. My window looks really big. Yours might be a little bit smaller, but we'll get started here. So what we're going to see is this text right here. It says Python shell. So like I said, this is the editor. This is where we're going to do all of our coding. So idle opens up the Python shell. And so a Python shell essentially allows us to interact with the code that we're typing in real time, which is very handy for beginners because it allows us to see direct consequences to what we're typing. So to know that you're in the shell, one, it'll say shell at the top. As well, it's going to have all this writing. And then the most important are these three arrows. So the three arrows are basically where you're going to start typing. It's going to be a user prompt essentially. So in here, I can go in and I can type in some text. So the first thing I want you to try is I want you to open up Python shell. I want you to write print. You'll see that it turns purple. Open bracket, quotation mark, and then you can write hello. Close that quotation mark, close the bracket, and everything looks good, and then press enter. A very easy command, but you've just done some coding, which is great. So let's go back and take a look at it. So we've got print, and print turned purple. So when your text will turn purple, it means that it's a function, which means that it's got to have brackets coming afterwards with some sort of text inside. Okay. When it turns green, like our hello, it's called a string. And we'll get into what a string means in a little bit. But right now, all you need to know is that it's basically a word. It's an object that's gonna, doesn't have any value to it. So there's no number value. A string needs to be bounded by quotation marks so that Python knows that it's one clump. So it's not just numbers or letters. So when I press enter at the end of the line, it's gonna come back and it's gonna return just hello, no quotation marks, because that's what Python sees, and it's going to be blue. So anything that Python runs and gives back to you will be blue. So that's how you can know there. So if I write print, open bracket, and just regular hello with no quotations, you'll notice that, one, it's not green, and when I press enter, I get a whole bunch of red text, and that's an error. Nobody likes red text. Okay? So let's try that again. We're going to go print, open, we're going to write hello. Make sure we have our quotation marks. It's turned green, everything looks good. Press enter and we're golden. Okay, what happens now if I do a capital P on my print? And still the same thing with my hello. Again, we're gonna notice that the print didn't turn purple, which means it's just random typing. So when I press enter, I get another error. So in coding, it's really important to take a look at the quotation, the punctuation, the syntax, so that it flows correctly and that the computer understands what you're asking it to do. So when we are doing something, and if you're following along and something doesn't work or you get an error, just go back, pause the video, take a look, make sure that you've got the correct punctuation, that the colors are matching, and that you haven't misspelled anything. That's really important. It's always a big one. And the next thing is the capitalization. Make sure that everything is lowercase. Nothing by default is usually uppercase when we're working with coding. Okay, so we're gonna just write print, hello, making sure that we've got our quotations, our lowercase, our brackets, and we're gonna press enter and we're good to go again. All right, now, when we're in the shell, it's something that we can basically do a call and response, we can interact with. But if I go back and I wanna edit something, so say I've written print with a capital, we've done this, we're getting our arrow, it's not working. I can't actually go back up here. I can highlight it, but I can't actually go in and edit it with my keyboard. I can copy and paste it, so I can select it all. I can copy and I can paste and then edit. Okay, but I can't actually go back and edit it here. So when we're making really, really big pieces of code or when we do our next activity, it's gonna be really hard to do it in here in case we make a mistake. So we're not gonna work in the shell when we do most of our coding. We're gonna work in a new window, but still in idle. We wanna get out of the shell. The shell is where it's all gonna run. So we're just gonna move it over to the side here. Perfect. And what we're gonna do is at the top or in the file menu, we're gonna do file, new file, or control N or command N. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this really big blank window. All right. So on the left, we've got the shell. On the right, we have this untitled white screen. But we do see that we have our text blinker right up at the top there, and I can type within it. So the one on the right is where we're gonna do all of our coding. We can go back, we can do some edits, and in order to get it to run, we have to compile it, we have to tell it to do all of that. So it's gonna do it all at once rather than just line by line, which is like in the shell. Okay, so if I go print, again, we can see that the colors are changing, and that's a great sign, but if I press enter over here, nothing's happening. Okay, it doesn't mean that the code is wrong, it just means that we're in the editor. We can go back up here, I can change it so that it says prints, or printa. We wanna make sure that we get it all there. We could do print, you're a wizard, Harry. We can add in punctuation there, that's all good. Thing to note here is that I've written a string, but the string contains a quotation mark. It's just a single quotation, so you'll notice that I've started with a double quotation, I've used a single in here, everything's fine, and then I've closed it again with the double quotation. If I go back to shell, we can see that happening. So if I go print, you're a wizard, Harry, and I print it there, it works. If I were to this time write it with a single quotation, which still works, I can do hello with a single quotation, still prints the same, everything's all good there. Okay, but if I go, "You're a wizard, Harry," what do we notice? We notice that purple, that's great, but our whole sentence isn't green anymore, because once we've added in that same quotation mark, it's closed off so that my string is just "you" instead of "You're a wizard, Harry." Okay, like up here. So if I were to then change it to a double quotation, we're all good again, because Python is looking for that initial quotation mark and the last one, so the bounding quotation. So if I'm over here doing great things, I've got print, "Hello, you're a wizard, Harry," everything looks great, but I want to test it out. I want to see how it works. All I'm going to do, it's very simple, I just need to run the program. But up at the top here, File, we want to go over to Run. We want to run the module, or by pressing F5 on your keyboard. When we run the module, the very first time you're going to get a prompt, and it's like, "Source must be saved." Your computer has to know where it is. It can't just be this temporary file. So that's totally fine. We're going to save it. I've got a file on my desktop, Python codes. We're going to drop it in here, and we're going to go test code and save it there. So when I run it, you can see over in my shell, this is where it's going to pop up. So it's going to restart. It's going to call my Python code, and it's going to print out, "Hello, you're a wizard, Harry," just like I told it to here. All right, if I went in here and I said, "Look out, you're a wizard, Harry." Okay, this time when I run the module, it's going to ask me to save it, but it changes the code here so that now whenever I run it, I don't have the "hello" anymore, I have the "lookout." So that's just a very basic way of working in the Python shell as well as the Python editor. So try out a couple of things. Remember that when you're in the shell, you've got the command prompts here, versus an editor, you don't have anything, it's just a blank screen. Remember to take a look at your colors, remember to take a look at your punctuation, take a look at capitalization. So that's the basics to Python. You figured out how to download it onto your computer so that you can use it, knowing where to find the idle editor, and that's what we're gonna use going forwards. We did prints, we used the editor, we created our own file, and we figured out how to run our module so that it played back all the code that we wrote. It's a great first step. Now you can keep playing and exploring, try and find some videos online, but stay tuned for part 2. The link to that is in the description below, where we're going to create our very own number game. You've got the basics and you're ready to roll. Hopefully we'll see you in part 2. If not, have a great one and we'll see you next week.